Welcome back to another episode of Everyday Nuggets. Today, we're diving into something you've likely done several times already today: yawning. That sudden, involuntary opening of the mouth, taking in of air, and stretching of the eardrums. It's something so familiar that we barely think about it. Yet it remains surprisingly mysterious. Have you ever noticed how yawning seems to spread from person to person? Or wondered why we yawn when we're tired, but sometimes also when we're not? These questions have puzzled scientists for centuries, and the answers are more complex than you might think. A yawn is a reflex consisting of the simultaneous inhalation of air and stretching of the eardrums, followed by an exhalation of breath. During a yawn, your abdominal muscles flex and your diaphragm moves downward. Your larynx opens up and air is taken in, filling your lungs. Your facial muscles stretch, and in some cases, your eyes may water. The average yawn lasts about 6 seconds, though they can range from less than 3 seconds to nearly half a minute. It's a behavior we share with many other vertebrates, from fish to mammals, suggesting it has deep evolutionary roots. When we yawn, several physical changes occur in our bodies. Our mouth opens widely. We inhale deeply, filling our lungs with air. This stretches the muscles of our face, neck, and diaphragm. Blood flow increases to our face and brain, potentially providing a cooling effect. Our eardrums stretch, and we experience a momentary feeling of satisfaction when the yawn is complete. Interestingly, many people also stretch their arms when they yawn, a behavior known as pandiculation. This stretching can help increase blood flow and flex muscles that may have been inactive, particularly after periods of rest. Throughout history, yawning has been interpreted in various fascinating ways. The ancient Greeks believed that yawning was the body's way of removing bad air and taking in good air, essentially a mechanism for purifying the body. This theory persisted for centuries. In medieval times, yawning took on more spiritual connotations. Some believed that during a yawn, the soul might temporarily leave the body, creating an opportunity for the devil to enter. This is one explanation for why you should cover your mouth. At the same time, yawning became a common courtesy. It was initially intended to prevent evil spirits from entering your body. In the 18th century, the prevailing theory shifted to the idea that yawning was the body's way of increasing oxygen intake when carbon dioxide levels in the blood became too high. While this theory made intuitive sense and persisted for many years, modern research has largely disproven it. Today, scientists have several competing theories about why we yawn, none of which fully explain all aspects of this behavior. One prominent theory suggests that yawning helps regulate brain temperature. The brain operates optimally within a narrow temperature range, and some research indicates that yawning increases blood flow to the brain, potentially cooling it down when it begins to overheat. This might explain why we yawn when we're tired or bored. These are states when our brain's temperature regulation might need a boost. Another theory proposes that yawning helps us stay alert. When we're bored or drowsy, yawning might be a way for the body to increase consciousness and attentiveness by stretching muscles and increasing blood flow. This could be particularly useful in group settings, where maintaining alertness could be crucial for survival in our evolutionary past. Some researchers believe yawning might help equalize pressure in our ears, particularly during altitude changes. This would explain why we often yawn in elevators or during airplane takeoffs and landings. So if yawning plays a role in our body temperature and alertness, why do we tend to yawn when we see others yawn? This phenomenon has fascinated scientists for decades, and it's called contagious yawning. Interestingly, humans aren't the only creatures that experience contagious yawning. Studies have observed this behavior in chimpanzees, bonobos, and even domestic dogs. What's particularly noteworthy is that dogs may catch yawns from their human companions, suggesting a cross-species empathetic response. The leading theory behind contagious yawning connects it to empathy, our ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Research has shown that individuals with higher levels of empathy are more susceptible to contagious yawning. In one study, children with autism spectrum disorder, who often experience challenges with traditional forms of empathy, showed reduced rates of infectious yawning compared to neurotypical children. This empathy connection might explain why we're more likely to catch a yawn from someone we know well rather than a stranger. A 2011 study found that yawns were more contagious between family members than between friends, and more contagious between friends than between strangers, suggesting that the closer our social bond, the more likely we are to mirror this behavior. From an evolutionary perspective, contagious yawning might have developed as a way to synchronize group behavior. Imagine our ancient ancestors settling down for the night. If one person yawned, signaling tiredness, it would be advantageous for the entire group to recognize this cue and prepare for sleep as well. Some researchers propose that yawning evolved as a social signaling mechanism to increase group vigilance. The theory suggests that when one member of a group yawns, perhaps due to decreasing alertness, others in the group would catch the yawn and experience its arousing effects, helping the entire group maintain optimal alertness levels during critical periods. This social synchronization theory gains support from observations of animals in the wild. For example, lions often yawn before transitioning from rest to activity, seemingly coordinating the group's movement through this simple behavior. Despite the considerable research, yawning still holds mysteries. For example, fetuses have been observed yawning in the womb as early as 11 weeks of gestation, well before social behavior develops. This suggests that yawning has fundamental biological functions beyond what we currently understand. Additionally, studies have found correlations between yawning frequency and brain size across different species. Animals with larger brains and more neurons tend to have more prolonged yawns, supporting the brain cooling hypothesis, but also hinting at connections between yawning and cognitive complexity that we haven't fully explored. Throughout history, different cultures have attributed various meanings to yawning. In some societies, covering your mouth while yawning isn't just about politeness. It stems from ancient beliefs that your soul might escape, or evil spirits might enter through an open mouth during a yawn. Medieval Europeans sometimes viewed excessive yawning as a sign of spiritual or moral weakness. At the same time, some traditional Middle Eastern cultures considered it an expression of sexual desire. In contrast, certain Buddhist traditions interpreted yawning during meditation as a sign of spiritual energy movement. These diverse cultural interpretations remind us that even the most basic human behaviors can carry complex social meanings beyond their biological functions. So why do we yawn? The answer encompasses multiple interconnected functions: regulating brain temperature, increasing alertness, facilitating social bonding, and possibly synchronizing group behavior. Yawning represents a fascinating intersection of physiology, psychology, and social behavior. This simple act reveals the complex nature of being human. Next time you find yourself suppressing a yawn during an important meeting or catching one from a friend across the room, remember that this universal experience connects you not just to other humans, but to a biological heritage shared across many species. A reminder that even our most mundane behaviors often serve profound purposes in our biological and social lives. Thank you for watching another episode of Everyday Nuggets. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe for more videos. If you have suggestions for other everyday objects you'd like to learn about, please leave them in the comments below. Stay curious,